Coming up next is the Dr. Kim Taylor Show. Here's your chance to talk about what matters to you. Although you'll receive helpful advice from Dr. Kim, remember this is not to be construed as any form of psychotherapy, diagnosis or treatment, and cannot replace a therapeutic relationship with a mental health professional. You can reach Dr. Kim by calling 564-1290 or 866-564-1290. You can also listen live on the internet at drkimtaylorshow.com. Now, here's Dr. Kim.
Yes, I am Dr. Kim, and I want to welcome you if you are a new listener to my program as we ease into our new prime time slot here every Thursday afternoon between 5 and 6 p.m. And of course, those that have been with me for the last year and are following me to this new time slot, I want to thank you all for staying on board as we launch the first show of Dr. Kim Live at 5. Now, if you're new to the show, let me give you an overview as to what the show is all about, what I do here, and who I am. I've been a practicing psychologist here in Santa Barbara for just about 20 years now. But it was just over a year ago that I decided to shake things up a bit and to start a new challenge to become a talk radio host. And it was really to help all those who may never enter into my therapist's office or any other therapist's office for that matter, but nonetheless, they have questions and concerns and could use a bit of advice from someone with a bit of expertise. Those of you who have listened to the program know that this is the place that you can come and talk about whatever's on your mind. Questions about your life, maybe about your relationships. It might be parenting questions, problems that you're having at work or at home. Or here's one, why you're feeling stuck and lacking motivation in your life. The truth is that often what happens is that we recreate certain patterns with people or situations. And we tend to just pick the same unhealthy partner or the same unhealthy experience time and time again, and then end up hurt and confused and really don't know what happened and why it didn't work out. So this is the place that you can ask those questions and get some helpful advice to sort things out. And of course, the great thing is that in the process that others who are also listening can benefit from hearing your story, as it may be similar to theirs and something that they too need to hear to help them deal with their own issues. Now, along with taking your phone calls, I will also be sharing some current topics, some hot topics that I think will be of interest to you, as well as to bring on some interesting guests, authors, and experts in the field who have skills and knowledge that I want to be able to share with you. Then, of course, I will be sharing some of my favorite books and quotes or things that inspire me. It was Maya Angelou who lovingly said that when we know better, we just do better. And this is so true. So I'm here to hopefully help educate, enlighten, and inspire you to live a life that you can love. So my job here is very simple. It's really just to help you understand what you feel and where those feelings come from. Because when we can know and understand why we react to certain people or situations, then we start to learn more about ourselves. And when we can do that, we can be more honest with ourselves and then with others. So it's as simple as that. I'm here for you, and you only have to pick up the phone and give me a call so that together we can make some sense of what troubles you or stops you from really enjoying your life. And whatever gets in your way, and the truth is that sometimes what gets in the way of you is you. So I'm here to help you find that. And I will be here each and every Thursday, live at 5. And I invite you to get on the phone and give me a call. You can reach me right now at 564-1290 or toll free at 866-564-1290. And for those of you who'd rather just send me your question by email, you can send them to Dr. Kim at drkimtaylorshow.com. I'm Dr. Kim, and I'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to Dr. Kim Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or 866-564-1290. Tune into the rebroadcast Thursday evenings at 10 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Or download the past shows on iTunes or YouTube by going to drkimtaylorshow.com. Here now is Dr. Kim.
I was just reading about this connection between happiness and gratefulness. And what we're finding in our research these days is that when we look for what we're grateful for, even in the midst of being very unhappy, we can actually regain a sense of happiness. So, of course, we all know this takes a lot of work, and sometimes it's going to be a lot harder than other times. But when we're able to take the moment and look at it as an opportunity to learn, to evolve, and to elevate ourselves and be appreciative of what we do have, then it's through that gratefulness that we can be happy again. This is why we often see those who have so little, but they can find a sense of happiness, and it's because they're grateful for what they do have. I actually call this a state of grace. So what I want to say today is that I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for the callers who have called in the past on my show at the old time, and that we had started this program out by taking calls so that people could get some help. This world sometimes is very confusing, sometimes chaotic. We're all a little stressed. So yes, even here in lovely Santa Barbara. And I just want to be able right now to share some of those calls with you. This one is from Tim, who had a very challenging boss. So let's listen in and hear what he has to say. Hi, it's Kim Taylor, and we're on the phone now with Tim. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Doctor. Thanks for picking up. It's a pleasure, and I love your show.
Thanks. What's going on with you today?
I work in a corporate setting. I've been at my job for 30 years now, and there are some challenges that I'm continually faced with daily. And their personality challenges of, other people, colleagues, if you will. And particularly my boss is a very high-strung, uptight, hostile type of individual, and it permeates into the whole room. And I don't know, I pretty much resolved to the fact that I'm not going to take it or escalate it to human resources or anything because of how long I've been there. I'm just going to ride it out. But I just deal with this. I take on the stress of that.
Tell me.
Go ahead.
Tim, tell me in which ways that you take on the stress of this. What happens to you? Yeah, right there. What happens to you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. When I find myself. I don't know, I guess the innards, my innards just sort of tighten up, and, it just feels, my body feels kind of uptight, and focusing on, the job at hand becomes a little more difficult because it becomes more about, handling the stress in the moment rather than focusing on the job at hand.
Okay, so what you are saying is that you take on some of this stress that you're feeling from him. It makes you tight and tense inside.
Yes.
Does this person remind you of anybody else in your life?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Who?
That's good observation. Yeah, my father was very, very similar.
Okay.
Personality.
Okay. So probably one of the reasons why this particular boss bugs you so much is because of the traits that you are recognizing about him that were similar to your father. And that at the time that you were with your father, you had no power to change. You had no power to do anything different. Now you are dealing with a boss who has these traits, and you can't get out because you said that you're going to still stay there. It's not that you're going to leave your job. But now the question is, how do you deal with someone like this in the present, different than how you dealt with it in the past, where the only thing you could do in the past was to get out?
Exactly. Yeah.
So what would you need to say or do that would make you feel more powerful about yourself?
I'd just make the choice to leave.
Mm-hmm. But it's, I think, a really important time for you to, as I say, take back your power by saying, I'm no longer going to let those who act out in this way, which is a very immature way of trying to take out all your frustration on someone else,
Mm-hmm.
but that you're no longer going to let it affect you. And you're not going to
Yeah,
be their whipping post. And this
That's
time,
right.
you're going to stand up and say, no more.
Yep. Yeah, I can do that. I could just do that in my head.
Yep. Yeah. And doing it for yourself in your head will change the way that you think about it, and therefore change the way that you're feeling about it. This
Okay,
isn't...
I'll use that. No, that's the mantra, no more.
Yeah. When we hold in some anger, that it tends to then start to fester. And part of the anger is that, yes, the anger is directed at your boss. But before that, it was directed at your dad. But ultimately, it is directed at yourself and that part of you that was unable to stand up to your dad because at the time it was too overwhelming and you were too young.
Mm-hmm.
And what would be really helpful for you now is to not act in that same way in this adult situation with your boss.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Don't take it on. And if you do not let it affect you, you're going to feel better about yourself because you will have stood up and you won't take it personally. And therefore you don't need to carry it with you. And just let it go. Just think of yourself as it's just going to just bounce right off of me. It is not about me. I'm not going to let it affect me. I am going to come here and I'm going to do my job and I'm going to do a good job. And if he wants to act like the jerk in the room, let him act like the jerk in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But really be willing to act in a way now that you couldn't as a child, so that you can see that there is a difference. It isn't that you aren't the reason he's doing it, even though you were affected by your dad, but you are also not the reason your boss is doing it. Mm-hmm. Don't let it affect you now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Correct. That's perfect. That's right.
No more abuse. Don't take it on.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
I can do that.
Okay. What you need to understand is that you do have the ultimate power, and that is of choice. You can choose to leave, but you can also choose to stay and to let it not be something that affects you and makes you sick, so that you feel like that little boy again in front of a father who you were dependent on and had no way out. Today, you do. Use that power. You'll feel better about yourself. Do you know what I liked about this call is that nothing happens to us without a purpose. And it's what we do with it and what we do about it. That's the key to who we are going to be and what we are going to become. So the next caller is Frank. Then he called in one week and he had trouble with his girlfriend's mother. And so we talked it through, and let's listen into that now. Hi, this is Kim Taylor, and currently we're on the phone with Frank. Hi, Frank. What is going on in your life today?
Well, I've recently met a girl, and we've gotten close pretty quick, and didn't really meet her mother till about maybe a month ago. And
okay, and Frank, how long have the two of you been going out?
About 5 months.
Okay.
And just really maybe I expected too much, but I thought her mother would be more receptive to me and be interested in what I do and about my life. And it felt like she was really kind of almost jealous of her daughter being happy and me being a part of that. And so it's a concern to me that, there'll be some issue down the line.
Okay. Tell me, what does your girlfriend say about this? Is this something that her mother usually does, or has she just picked you out?
No, she said in this meeting that we had the mother came out for my girlfriend's son's graduation, and said it was really weird, and she never really acted like that before, and it was not like her mother at all.
Okay.
And so,
and has your girlfriend gone to her mother and sat with her mother and said, "Hey, Mom, this is very unlike you. What is going on? What's happening?"
no, Pamela was like kind of in shock at the whole thing herself, and just kind of didn't want to have to deal with all that issue while he was here. It was all about her son and graduating and happy times, and didn't kind of like get into all that. And so I talked to other people about it. Other people said the same thing. Some of her parents' friends that all know each other, and that sounds really weird that she acted that way, because she's not that way in general.
Okay.
And her sister did the same thing. They were just kind of really standoffish towards me in general, and I thought that was kind of weird. That first of all, it's her daughter and her sister, and her sister finally found somebody after 14 years after divorce. Never had anybody in her life to come along, and then they wouldn't even really care.
You need to sit with your girlfriend and say, "I was very uncomfortable. I'm not sure what's going on with your mom, but that what I need to do is to tell you how I feel about that, and that for you to go and talk to your mom first and talk to your family first, so that you understand what's going on with them. Because if this is going to be a problem, then it's going to be a problem between the two of you."
That's right.
And I think that the most important thing that you need to know is, how is your girlfriend going to handle this? Frank, I think that the problem that you have is with your girlfriend. If your girlfriend has not discussed you with her family, if she just kind of surprised them with you, and that they have no idea what you mean to her, what part you've played, how long you've been together, that I think the question you have to ask with your girlfriend is, why are you keeping me secret? Why aren't you talking to your parents or your sisters about me, so that you can share with them what you feel? Because right now you're a stranger to them, and she's kept them at a distance, so that she is not being forthcoming about what's going on between the two of you, and she's not trusting that she can talk to her family about this, so that they're not trusting you because they don't know anything about you. And she just kind of surprised them with you, and so they don't know how to take you because she hasn't told them what's going on. So something's missing here. And it has to do with whatever's happening between your girlfriend and her mother and sisters.
You're listening to Dr. Kim Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or 866-564-1290. Tune into the rebroadcast Thursday evenings at 10 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Or download the past shows on iTunes or YouTube by going to drkimtaylorshow.com. Here now is Dr. Kim.
We are just now launching this program in your drive time, and I am very happy to be here with you. This is a place that we talk about whatever is on your mind, and whether you're facing challenges in your own life, or that you need to make some changes, or even if you think that nobody understands you, try me. And I'm going to be here for the next hour to take your calls. So definitely, if you have something that you would like to talk about, I'd love to hear from you. You can also ask your question by email. And here I have one now that I wanted to share with you. They're calling themselves Sleepless in Santa Barbara. Dear Dr. Kim, I usually never have a problem falling asleep. But about 5 years ago, I started having trouble staying asleep. In the middle of the night, I started worrying and tossing and turning, trying to fix all my personal problems along with the world's problems. Usually, of course, there's no solution and no end in sight, but night after night, the same thing would happen over and over again. Then I started to listen to the radio. Well, let's hope he listens to this station. But anyway, he says he puts an earphone in his ear so as not to disturb his wife. And this has been a diversion to my restless thoughts occupying my mind having somebody else's voice as a diversion. The radio is on a timer, so it shuts off after an hour or so, but I wake up and turn it back on when I start to get restless until I fall asleep again. Now, some years later, my radio is like a 3-year-old's pacifier, and I can't imagine being without it. I'm assuming this is a bad thing night after night, but I don't know how to break the habit. There's a big fear of not having my radio crutch and lying in bed at night worrying with no diversion in my ear. What should I do? Sleepless in Santa Barbara. So let's first look at this. The first one is the habit. In order to break a habit, we have to create something new and something different. So what you do know and what you've said is listening to the voices or the news doesn't allow your brain to shut off and you just get more restless. So the first thing I would say to you is that you have to be willing to at least change this to white noise. Something like rain falling or ocean waves, something that actually induces a sense of calm so that your body can still be restful and peaceful and then drop back off to sleep. But you're going to have to promise yourself to not listen to talk radio during the night. And once more, in order to change the habit, you really have to be willing to do something different and do it for a number of days, like 60 days, and you'll have the habit changed. But let's talk about the worry part too, because I think we have to tackle that. Something else is on your mind, and it is preventing you from sleeping. What I would say is that you need to deal with the problem of whatever is that you are worrying about at night, that you need to use the daytime hour to write down what the problem is and maybe some of the steps that you are going to take to resolve it. And as you start to do this and know that you are achieving a part of it, you are taking steps in that direction, then you're going to be able to have a good night's sleep. It will be a lot easier. Then each time you wake or start to worry, you have to remind yourself that when you are doing this worrying at night, that you are doing what you can and that you're just going to let this go for now so that you can get some rest and then be able to get back to it more refreshed in the morning. We really have to guard our sleep. I mean, it's one of the most important things that we need to do, because if we're not getting the sleep, then whatever problems we do need to deal with and whatever stress we have is just going to be worse. So the first step really is to guard that sleep and to try and change the habit so that you can get a more relaxing sleep. The other thing that I would say is that if you are consistently having trouble, whether it's falling asleep or trying to stay asleep, that you might want to seek some help for this if these things will not work for you. So I certainly wish you a good night's sleep. And right now we're going to go to a call. This is Sally. She was divorced and she's experiencing the empty nest as her children are leaving home. And we actually spoke about the empty nest last week, and it's a very real issue for people, and that people can really struggle with it. But when you're also going through a divorce at the same time, it can be equally hard. So let's tune into that right now. Hi, this is Dr. Kim Taylor, and we're on the phone now with Sally. Hi, Sally.
Hi.
What's on your mind today?
Well, I've been divorced for about 2.5 years, and during that time, each of my children have come to live with me for a period of time. My son first, and he moved, and he's been gone for a while. Then my daughter moved in, and she has now moved out with her new boyfriend, and now I'm by myself. And as much as I want this new life for her, there's going to be a little bit of a void in my life. Just not that we were together 24/7 because she works, but just, I guess, worrying about somebody else in the house.
So now you actually are at the point in your life where you actually have to come to terms with not just your divorce, but the empty nest, and what are you going to do with the rest of your life?
Mm-hmm. And I really have such feelings of just aloneness, of
sadness.
Not very much sadness.
Tell me about the sadness.
Well, the sadness every day still is about my divorce, that, I've come to terms with it, but I guess I must still love him because I think about him all the time. And just, it's not wanting another man in my life, but wanting to make the life that I have count, and to really live because I don't live. I mean, of course, I'm alive and breathing, but I am not living my life.
Do you think that you're
I'm waiting for something to happen.
Okay. Do you feel like you're missing him, or is it that you're missing having someone to do this with so that you don't feel all alone at this time in your life?
I think it's probably a little of both.
But he has moved on?
Yes.
Okay. So it really does mean that you also need to move on and need to move on into this new chapter where you are going to have to create a new life, and you're going to have to do it on your own.
Yes. And I do feel that I've done a lot of that I am doing it on my own. Not that I really want to, but I am. But there's a feeling of being stuck, a feeling of being lost, a feeling of that I'm not the person I used to be at all, and that really bothers me.
What you are describing is having to go through a divorce, not having wanted it, having seen yourself as someone who's always going to be married and that you were just going to be living your life along with him. And now you have to change all of that. Okay. So this is, and it sounds like that maybe perhaps the grieving process got stopped a bit when your kids came to live with you and you could focus on them. But now you have to go through the rest of that grieving process, which is mourning and letting go of something that was and something that you hoped for, dealing with the reality of what is, and then allowing yourself to then shift into the stage of then being able to recreate a new life and pick up a life that will work for you now, different than the one you thought you were going to have.
Yes, but I don't know what it is. And I just don't know, I guess I don't know who I am. In a way I do, and in many ways I don't. I've lost a part of me that just had such a caring for others, and I just feel like I just really don't give a damn about anything.
I think that's part of the work of going through this sadness, is that things have lost their flavor, their color, their passion, their light, because you are in mourning. You will find it again if you keep moving forward. Most likely it may come in very unexpected places, but there will be a time that will come when you'll start to care again, because you will invest back into your life and you will start to head in directions that are going to be right for you, that you're just going to follow what feels right, what is fun to you or exciting to you, and you will find it. But you first have to walk through this portion that feels really sad. What you want, I think, is right on the other side of all of this. If you accept and let yourself feel sad and go through the mourning, to be able to figure out what you need to do next.
But how do you figure out what you need to do?
Well, how about you start to make a list of who you are? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? And to start to collect things, whether there's pictures or slogans or quotes or people that just inspire you, that get you excited, things that you didn't know that you really liked, things that you didn't know you didn't like, but that you start to gather this all together as a way to figure out who you are, what makes you you, separate from everybody else. And through that, you begin to start to get a sense of yourself, because all of our passion and all of our dreams come through that. We find what we are supposed to be doing by first noticing what it is that makes us tick, what it is that makes us excited, what it is that makes us want to get up in the morning. And sometimes it doesn't have to be one big, huge thing. It can be a lot of small things that you just start to gather as a way to do the exercise of getting back in touch with who Sally is, separate now from a husband and separate now from the kids who have gone off to live their own life. By trying to remain that person who did always care, who was full of love, who was there to give. And even though she got disappointed and discouraged along the way, your job is to still reach for that person that you know that you are. What do you feel when I say that? Still lost?
Scared.
Yeah.
Confused.
Mm-hmm.
It's work.
It is work. It is work. And I can see how you could be confused because you were always in a marriage. You always had somebody to throw things against and to get their input. You had the kids and you could focus on that. It's just that this time in your life is here now, and you have to bring some meaning and purpose to it. Find something that you can give to as a way to re-find yourself and the passion that you have for life.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for calling.
You're listening to Dr. Kim Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or 866-564-1290. Tune into the rebroadcast Thursday evenings at 10 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Or download the past shows on iTunes or YouTube by going to drkimtaylorshow.com. Here now is Dr. Kim.
Words have such power in our lives. The words we choose, the words we say, and even the words sometimes that we forget to say. What are the words that you use in your life? I want you to become more aware of them. Do they fill you with positive energy or negative? Do you know that what happens is that the more that we hear a word or speak a word, the more power it will have over us? And this is true whether this word or this sentence or this thought is true or not. So the words we speak or read or expose ourselves to do create a lasting effect on us. And we need to be more aware of these private messages that we're either sending out to others or to ourselves, because they do matter. I actually love words. I have a journal of new words and some that are quotes or thoughts that other people have had. And each week I thought it would be great to share with you some of my favorites. So today the word is sillage. It's S-I-L-L-A-G-E. And it means the scent that lingers, the trail left in water, the impression made in space after something or someone has been and gone, like the trace of someone's perfume. What is the impression that you leave behind? And what is the impression that you would like to leave? Do they match? Well, whatever your favorite word is, if you have one, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to share it. You can email it to me at drkim@drkimtaylorshow.com. So let's not forget that I'm here for you, and all you have to do is pick up the phone and call, and I would love to hear from you. You can call me at 564-1290. Here now is a call from Harry. He has a relative who he didn't realize that he had actually taught this relative that he could mistreat him. So Harry was going to have to be willing to reteach him if things were ever going to change. Here's the call now. Hi, this is Kim Taylor, and we're on the phone with Harry. Hi, Harry.
Hi, Dr. Taylor.
What's going on today?
Well, I wanted to speak to you about a sort of an ongoing problem we have in our family. We have a relative who's probably mid-40s, is very well-to-do, and let's say twice a year, he comes to our house, stays for about a week to 10 days, and really never contributes, as far as food. We sort of wait hand and foot on him for, 7 to 10 days, treat him to movies, treat him to dinners, and we keep waiting for him to reciprocate in some way, but it really has never happened.
And why is he invited back?
Well, that's a good question. Mainly because we sort of have a family policy that we don't say no.
Okay, so what you're saying, Harry, is that as long as it's a family policy that you can't say no, what it means is that you are allowing anyone to come into your house, treat you in a disrespectful way, take advantage of you. You end up having really negative feelings about him, which is going to undermine your relationship with him anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so unless you tell him or set some kind of a boundary with him, he will continue to do this because this is what he has been taught that it's okay to do with you. Why are you so afraid of him? Why are you so afraid of telling him the truth?
We're not afraid of telling him the truth. I think it's about, creating a rift in the family.
But I'm sure that he would also not like it if he knew that all the family members were talking about him and that they were resentful about him when he came to visit. Correct?
Probably correct. Yeah.
Okay. So in a very kind and in a very gentle way, tell him that, okay, on Tuesday, dinner is up to you to provide for all of us, and that you share in the cooking or you share in the cleaning, but that you make him a part of your daily process about what happens when people come to visit your home.
Yeah, I think that's a great solution.
Maybe if you just teach him a little bit about that, he'll be more comfortable and you'll be more comfortable within your own home inviting him in. But there is a lot that you can do by changing your behavior that he will then just have to change in response to that. If you don't have him come for a long period of time, if you say, I'm sorry, but we're not going to be able to take you in this time, or we can't take you and your girlfriend, or sure, that's fine, but we are going to we are very busy this week, so we're going to have you contribute to your own meals or take care of your own meals. So when you're setting those boundaries, somebody else has to just respond to those, and they'll have to change in response to the change that you'll be making.
Great. Thank you. I think that's great advice.
Okay. Good luck with that. The next caller is Eileen, and she wants to talk about her elder parent and whether she should be driving. So here definitely is a question that I think all of us baby boomers are going to be dealing with as the day is going to come that we're going to have to take away our parents' driver's license. It's like they giveth and we taketh away. So let's listen in now. Hi, this is Dr. Kim, and we're on the phone with Eileen. Hi, how can I help you?
Well, thank you, first of all, for taking my call. Mm-hmm. My question has to do with parents, actually one parent, who's getting very stubborn about giving up her driver's license, even though I feel that she's quite unsafe and probably shouldn't be driving, if not now, very soon. And my question is, how do I bring the subject around so it's sort of more her idea than mine, that maybe it's time to rethink her driver's license and driving?
Okay. Has she gone to take the test?
She has gone several times and watched other people take it. Her birthday is coming up soon, and I think what I'm guessing she's doing is kind of trying to figure out if she can fake it, because her sight isn't as good as it used to be. But I think she's discovered they changed the eye charts. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I know she's been several times down there.
Okay, so she
check it out.
Okay, so she is trying very hard to pass this, but what you're seeing is that she also is struggling, that a part of her does know that she isn't the same, that her eyesight is not the same, probably her driving skills are not the same. What if you were to just let her go and take this test? Because the DMV is probably very well aware that some people this age, they do have to watch them rather closely. They do have to be able to know whether they're still capable of driving. And perhaps just the natural consequence of going through that process, they may actually do the pulling of this license for her.
That would be lovely, but you haven't met my mother, and she is so charming. She could just charm your socks right off. and has done many occasions found herself out of tickets because she's been getting quite a few of those lately. And she plays the little old lady, oh, I didn't know, gosh, so well that she still has her license.
Okay.
So I hear what you're saying.
Have you sat down with her and told her that you know that she could probably pass the test, that she can charm the socks off of all of these people, but that you are concerned and that it is time for her to consider what it would be like to give up her license at this time?
I've just been so afraid of hurting her feelings.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I think that to sit down with her and to just share that and say first, I really don't want to hurt you, but that I am concerned, and I do think it's time that we have this conversation. And most likely she will know that it is coming. This is not going to be...
Right. It would be better, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a surprise to her that if she's getting these tickets, if she's just barely talking her way through it, if she's going to the DMV and trying to memorize the eye chart, the dear woman, she is needing some help.
I think so. Well, thank you. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for calling. As we come to the end of the program today, I really want to thank you for joining me, and I hope that you will join me again next Thursday afternoon, where we're going to be live at 5. So once more, we're going to open up the hour to answer your questions and to talk about what's on your mind. I like to end each day on the radio by saying, nobody else has to change in order for you to get better. Do you know that once you accept this and realize the power of this statement, that you will have the secret to change your life today, in this moment, and to stop waiting or hoping and wishing that someone else will change in order for you to be able to be happy? It was Viktor Frankl who said in Man's Search for Meaning that when we are no longer able to change a situation, i.e. control others, that we are then challenged to change ourselves. And I would add to that when we embrace this concept, we literally go from feeling like a victim waiting for others to being a very powerful force in our own life for change. And I'm all about personal responsibility here, and each person being able to empower themselves to create the life and relationships that you would like to have. And once you realize that you and only you are the manager of your life, then you can begin to manage your life and be more open to exploring something that's exciting, that has new possibilities, and that will lead you in the direction that you want to go. So this is actually what gets me excited to get up in the morning and to be on the radio with you. And I want to invite you all to share this program with your friends and family and encourage them to join in, call in with whatever questions that they have. Because once more, not just by you calling up and asking your question, can we get help, but also those that are calling in can help others by sharing their problem and their concerns. So I want to thank you once more for being here. And if you want to hear this program again, you can go to my website at drkimtaylorshow.com or go to iTunes and download the podcast for free. You can also listen to the rebroadcast right here at KZSB AM 1290. Thursday evenings, it's 10 p.m., and it's Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. So I'd love to hear your comments and whatever topics that you would like. Just drop me an email. Dr. Kim, drkimtaylorshow.com. Thank you, Mark Giles, for being my new engineer here. And a shout out to the Baron. I sure hope that you get better soon. You are really missed here. So I'm very excited to be in the Drive Time Hour with you every Thursday. So get ready to share, again, what's on your mind in my new prime time. Meanwhile, have a great week. And until then, remember, no one else has to change in order for you to get better.